billion shillings allocation to counties, breaking a stalemate that had persisted for weeks, pitting senators against members of the National Assembly. The mediation followed after senators amended the Division of Revenue Bill 2024 to provide that counties get 400 billion shillings instead of 380 billion that the National Assembly had allocated.
Deserve resources, and for that reason, we have reinstated the figure that they got the last financial year of 385 billion, and on top of that, we have made and provisioned additional resources of Kenya shillings 2 billion to make our counties perform their duties efficiently.
You know, the magnanimity of the members, and particularly members of National Assembly, on one issue, the cognizance of the fact that we are going on recess in 2 weeks, and we also have to pass TARA within the same 2 weeks in order to make sure we facilitate the funds flow to counties.
With is comfortable for the nation, is comfortable for the counties for the time being, and I'm sure we will be able to improve the services at the county level. It is clear that counties would also need to improve on how own source revenue is being collected at the county level, so that we do not put all the burden on the national budget.
As an institution of parliament, we must never cede even an inch of our constitutional mandate. That we must defend the territory that we've been given as parliament, because that territory was given to us by the people of Kenya. So if something is required to be done by parliament, let no other institution or organ or arm of government purport to be the ones in charge of doing that which constitutionally is placed in the hands of parliament.
Now, President William Ruto is for the third time expected to address a joint sitting of Parliament on Thursday afternoon for the State of the Nation address. The State of the Nation addresses an obligation of the Constitution which requires him to update Parliament on 3 key issues, among them national security. The head of state is also obligated to appraise the legislature on the measures taken by his administration and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values. Our reporter Martin Masharia was out on the streets to get a sense of what netizens expect tomorrow.
Mi kama mwananchi naweza sema tunajua ataongea kesho, na we all know that ataongelea mambo ya jobs, mambo ya she, na of course he has been talking and he is the head of the state. Lazima address the nation.
Mina expect kesho president address mambo ya shule kwa watu wa university. Juu hapo kuna issues kubwa sana. Mambo ya health. Mambo ya health vile president anasema si vile iko kwa huko kwa ground.
Kitu yani anatakiwa angalie ni mtu mwenye vile alisema. Si alisema atainunua mama boga. Hajamuinua. Alisema mtu wa boda boda, hajamuinua. Alisema ataongea maneno ya mtu kama mimi. Mimi nimefikisha 60. Natakiwa nichukue hii mzigo na beba na nikitembea. Lakini kama uchumi ungekuwa mzuri sasa singetembea.
Inafaa angalie hata kama atume sijui anatumaga watu kwa ground aje. Ni watu wagani wanampatiaga information. Information inafaa aende akuje huku chini apate information huku chini. Si ati anakaa huko anapewa information na ile kitu anasema na kitu raia huku chini tunasema ni kitu tofauti sana. Sasa hiyo kesho akiongea aongee na kitu iko huku chini, si ile kitu anaongea. Hizo vitu ni vitu mbili tofauti.
Yeye anasema maneno kuongea tu, anaongea. Yeye labda alitudanganya na maneno ya kanisa. Akasema wewe kwa kanisa kwa kanisa. Sasa kanisa sasa ndio inamkataa.
Juu amekuwa akitenga, anaweka mikakati, but we don't always see them taking place. But we hope for the best.
Angalia hiyo maneno. Hiyo maneno ya kusema ati ule mtu ako chini. Alisema mtu mwenye ako chini anamuinua. Sasa mtu mwenye ako chini ndio kukanyagiwa chini kabisa. Mtu kama mimi nabeba hii mzigo. Nikiuza picha moja natumiwa kwa simu. Juu hata watu hawabebage kachi. Natumiwa kwa simu. Nikienda pale nitoe already kama ni faida ya 50 already hiyo imekatwa tax. Na mwenye ako kwa ofisi yeye anazunguka tu hivi anachukua kalamu. Mimi nazunguka na hii mzigo. Ule mtu mwenye wa ofisi yeye atakatwa mwisho wa mwezi. Hata kama atakatwa 1,000, mimi hiyo 1,000 nitakuwa nimekatwa zaidi ya hiyo.
Inafaa government watengeneze job hapa Kenya, si kupeleka watu nje.
Now let's still stick on the State of the Nation address, where the LSK Kisumu branch and a section of activists have called on President William Ruto to call off the planned State of the Nation address. The groups have at the same time accused state security agencies of conducting unwarranted arrests and detentions.
For all the people who are illegally arrested, freedom! Freedom! Power continues, the struggle continues. Viva comrades, viva.
Continue to see state resources that are being used to harass the youth, instead of being channeled to be properly used to combat the issue of insecurity. We are asking that the government abides by the Constitution and allow people to have freedom of movement, freedom of speech, and persons who are being arrested be presented in court immediately. As LSK, we underscore our commitment to continue to represent those who are being wrongfully and illegally arrested, harassed, and kidnapped. We shall not stop, we shall not relent.
Now, what am I saying to the head of the state today? The head of the state, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, you are supposed to address the nation tomorrow and give us the State of the Nation address. That is a lie, and I call upon you to call it off. Because like we've seen, if the religious faith have lost faith in you, they're returning the monies that you've given them. Who are we to follow you and listen to what you have to tell us as a state? Viva comrades, viva! Viva!
We know that there's a State of the Nation address tomorrow, and we are telling President Ruto, we are tired of your lies. We don't need to spend a lot of time tomorrow listening to you lying more. We are telling you, please call off that State of the Nation address until you work on the issues that are being raised by Kenyans, that are being raised by the young people, that are being raised by the clergy, that are being raised by all friends of.
Now let's keep it with abductions, where the Kenya National Human Rights Commission documented 60 deaths in the period June-July during the anti-finance bill and anti-government protests. In addition, the commission also says it has documented 97 cases of femicide in the last 3 months, with a troubling manner in which the cases are carried out. And as Caroline Muthoni reports, the commission is calling for urgent action in what they described as a dangerously polarized environment.
Our women are being killed in places they consider safe.
Kenya National Commission on Human Rights on Wednesday released a press release on the state of human rights from July 2023 to November 2024. In their statement, they highlighted key issues that have been going on in the country, including femicide, where according to the National Police Service, more than 97 women have been murdered in a span of 3 months. The commission also highlighted the troubling ways in which these murders are brutally conducted. A case in point was that of discovery of more than 42 decomposing bodies, all women, from Kware dump site in Mukuru area of Nairobi. Furthermore, the recovery of 448 bodies in Shakahola forest. The commission urged the Inspector General of Police to expedite investigations on these cases and bring the perpetrators to book. They also called upon the IPOA to investigate and recommend charges against any officer implicated in extrajudicial killings, and for the government to adopt the Minnesota Protocol on the investigation of potentially unlawful death.
Further call on the government to adopt the Minnesota Protocol on the investigation of potentially unlawful death.
President William Ruto also addressed the issue on femicide in his statement after meeting women leaders at State House Nairobi, saying that the issue requires combined efforts from the government, religious leaders, teachers and citizens at large in putting a stop to the issue. He called upon implementation of gender desk in police stations and hospitals to help in preventing and responding to gender-based violence.
I have instructed the criminal justice actors to execute their mandate without delay, holding perpetrators of femicide fully accountable. Gender desks in police stations must be enhanced, and we will introduce similar gender desks services in hospitals to ensure victims receive immediate attention and care.
The Commission has also documented 1,376 arbitrary arrests as well as 610 cases of injuries from June 18th to November 2024. These injuries were sustained in the course of the demonstration and ranged from deep fractures, bullet wounds, soft tissue injuries, and inhalation of tear gas. Most of the injuries were inflicted by the security officers against the protesters. The Commission documented 25 injuries inflicted on security officers by protesters. They further recorded 74 cases and enforced disappearances in the period between June and November 2024, out of which 26 people are still missing. The Commission also addressed issues concerning rights to freedom and security of persons, indicating that the rising cases of abductions and enforcement disappearances are an affront to human rights principles that Kenya is ascribed to. They highlighted the continued cruel, degrading and inhumane treatment of persons taken against their will, where these daring happenings, recorded in videos and photographs, display civilians and security agent number plates, are rapidly taking the country back to the dark days.
I send my condolences on those of these leaders standing here with me, to those who are in pain today because of these tragic events.
Muthoni Caroline reporting for EBN News.
All right, thank you very much, Caroline, for that report. Indeed, worrying statistics there that have been released, and we'll hope to see, our security agencies really pull up their socks much more in terms of investigating and just giving detailed reports as well on the status of security in the country, and to ensure that, the Constitution guarantees freedom of expression, human rights, and we can only hope that the Constitution protects us all. Now, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki officially opened the first Nairobi County Health Scientific Conference, accompanied by Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja. The DP emphasized government's priority and interest in making Kenya a viable, progressive, prosperous and united country for its people. Kindiki said devolution will play a key role in harnessing the realization of this vision and national objective, particularly in the health sector.
The Kenya Kwanza administration's agenda for health, which has resulted in the current reform movement, is anchored in the national vision that I have already said, and it is for the better of this country. That reform is not just to change and revamp health institutions, but it is to ensure that the new system reaches out to as many of our people as possible, so that health, nutrition, does not become a preserve of some people in Kenya. It becomes accessible and affordable to as many people as possible, those who call Kenya home. And the president did say, which I want to reiterate, that SHA and the health reforms, challenging as the reforms are, those reforms will succeed. And he said, because those reforms are well-intentioned and anchored on our national vision, the reforms will succeed, so that way, those who think a country like Kenya, a developing country, with all its challenges, cannot roll out a successful health reform program that has been impossible to roll out in some of even the developed countries. Those who think that a country like Kenya cannot do it will live to see the success of this program, because it will succeed. And he said it will succeed because we have clear vision what this means to the people of Kenya, what a healthier population means, because it means a healthier population means a more productive people, and that will help us in terms of our economic goals and the other aspirations that we look for, including the stability of our country.
Now, the Cabinet Secretary for Water and Sanitation, Engineer Eric Mugaa, made an impromptu visit to Uma Dam in Kitui County on a site progress inspection mission and push to ensure Uma Dam and water supply project does not stall. The project was rewarded in January 2024 and is at 17% and expected to be completed in January of 2027. Now, Kofa Dam and Diversion Tunnel are almost complete and dam access grouting is ongoing. The project cost 1.96 billion shillings and already 257 million has been paid by the government of Kenya. Upon completion, the dam will store 1.2 billion litres and supply 2.65 million litres to Kitui town.
Uma Dam is one of the dams in this country that is funded by the government of Kenya and has sparked a lot of conversations in various sectors by various stakeholders. This is a dam that was started in the year 2009, and there was a dispute between the employer, that is the National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority, and the contractor. That debacle was settled out of court after arbitration, and the contract terminated. Today, as we speak, following directives from His Excellency the President to re-advertise and tender the works to complete Uma Dam, we have a contractor on ground who is actually doing not very well, because he's at almost 17%, and the time lapsed is almost 40% due to some challenges in there that have been solved. And this dam is supposed to impound approximately 1.2 million cubic. Hizo ni lita kama bilioni 1.2. That is not a small amount of money to feed the people of Kitui. And the contractor is working all around, because as you can see behind me, he has cleared the dam access. Grouting is ongoing, and we are glad to report that we are committed to see completion of this project.
Now, President William Ruto has said Kenya's foreign policy will be reviewed and aligned with emerging global realities and complexities. The president said the policy will be an important tool that helps navigate the challenges of a complex world order. He pointed out that Kenya's pursuit of national economic transformation requires a forward-looking, robust, patriotic, and people-centered foreign policy that will attract investments and secure the country's rightful place on the global stage. Now, President William Ruto also pointed out that diplomacy is rooted in traditions that safeguard the national interest and embody Kenya's identity as a nation committed to peace, proudly African, and dedicated to global prosperity.
12 consultative meetings have taken place with different sectors of our society, and based on their views, we now have a draft document that was validated under the leadership of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. And so today's meeting, Your Excellency, is really quite brief, because the intention of it is to hear the vision of the #1 diplomat of the Republic of Kenya.
Domesticate foreign policy. In the middle of this year, when the young men and women of Kenya were raising some concerns, they kept on asking this question: why does the president travel? Not looking at the end result, but why does he travel? It even migrated from why to the mode of travel. And in the process, critical aspects of what emerges out of proper engagement at the highest level was being lost in that conversation.
This, our national interest, is essential to our national survival. And therefore, this foreign policy is about the sustainability of our country in the decades and centuries to come. What is that will make Kenya survive in this very complex, competitive, and insecure world? Many decades when this generation might not be here, many centuries, obviously, when all of us will not be here.
I commend the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs for their thorough, consultative, and inclusive manner in which they have undertaken their work, and call upon all of us, all the stakeholders, both in private and public, as well as our local, regional, and international partners to collaborate with us and ensure the successful implementation of this policy.
With a rising number of people living with disability due to various causes, at least 3,000 such people have turned out for assessment and registration in an exercise conducted at the JM Kariuki Memorial and Referral Hospital. The activity is being spearheaded by the Council for People with Disability of Kenya for individuals from Olojororok and Ol Kalou constituencies. According to organizers, the exercise involves registration upon assessment of PWDs in order to make or to enable them to easily get access to the government's cash transfers, among other needs, among them acquiring assistive devices, certification, medical support, and other diverse needs of these vulnerable groups.
Leo tuko na exercise tunafanya inafanywa kwa JM Hospital, assessment ya registration for persons with disability to e-citizen. Zamani tulikuwa tunatumia cards, sasa unaingia e-citizen unakuwa registered digital wise. Ningeuliza walemavu wa Nyandarua, kama hauna certificate, kama hujakuwa registered na e-citizen, tafadhali ujitokeze. Hata siku ya kesho tutakuwa JM Memorial Hospital, jitokeze siku ya kesho na utashughulikiwa ndio usaidike na certificate. Ukosefu wa registration uko na madhara yake, sababu ikifika ni wakati wa empowerment equipment, that is tools of trade. Kama hauna certificate, serikali haikuelewi vizuri. Ndio ueleweke na serikali na mambo ya serikali ikifanyika usaidike. Ukiwa mlemavu lazima ukuwe registered na e-citizen na ukuwe unajulikana na the National Council for Persons with Disability, ambao ndio wako na jukumu ya kusajili walemavu wote katika Kenya hii. Na hiyo certificate iko na maana mingi sana kwa wale wenye wanataka kuimport goods from outside the country, the e-citizen registered members, custom duty, tax paying hakuna. So iko na faida zake. Kwa hivyo watu wasione tu ni karatasi, iko na faida zake. Ikifika ni business permit, walemavu ukiwa umesajiliwa hakuna kulipa leseni.
Tumekuja hapa sehemu za Olukarau JM kulete walemavu ambao ni wengi sana, na vile tumewaleta kwa sababu wamekaa miaka mingi bila kushughulikiwa na serikali. Kwa hivyo tungeomba hata serikali iwe ikiwapelekea hii huduma kwa kila sub county na kila sehemu ambao kuna sehemu DC mahali anakaa, wao wakipelekewa hizi huduma, kwa sababu wanateseka kabisa. Na ningeomba serikali washughulikie, kwa sababu wale watu ambao wanafikisha miaka 70 wanapata msaada, na hawa walemavu hakuna mtu anawashughulikia. Hata ukienda kuangalia unaona wakiwa kwa vijiji ndio wengi sana na wanateseka, hakuna mtu anawashughulikia. Kwa hivyo serikali wakati inaposhughulikia wazee, iwashughulikie hata hawa walemavu ambao wana shida nyingi.
Good stuff, good stuff. Now, the government has committed to safeguard the welfare of every child in the Republic of Kenya, as well as ensure that every school-going child has access to nutritious meals. First Lady Rachel Ruto spoke in Nakuru as she led the nation in marking the Children's Day, urging Parliament to disburse funds to the school feeding program. Kenya aims to attain the universal school feeding target of 10 million meals daily by 2030, and currently Kenya is feeding 2.5 million children daily. The World Children's Day is observed every year on November 20th. This is a global celebration dedicated to the welfare, rights, and future of children.
Today is a very important day worldwide. We are celebrating our children. We want our children to see the future. We want our children to excel. So it's a very big testimony for us also as parents to see our children excel in such a manner that we want them to grow. It is our responsibility to make sure that our children get the right education, the right nutrition, our children get clothing, our children get shelter, and for the fatherless, we need fathers for them, and for the motherless, we need mothers for them.
I'm pleased to join you this afternoon at Kaptembwa Primary School to celebrate World Children's Day 2024 with the theme, Listen to the Future, Stand Up for Children's Rights. Today, as we celebrate World Children's Day, our focus is clear: to ensure every child in Kenya has the opportunity to learn, thrive, and dream free from the burdens of hunger and malnutrition. A month ago, in October 2024, the World Bank published the Africa Pulse report that revealed that 7 in 10 children in sub-Saharan Africa are denied the benefits of pre-primary education due to hunger and malnutrition. When Kenya gained independence in 1963, the founding fathers of our nation focused on 3 key issues: poverty, disease, and ignorance. To eliminate ignorance, the plan was to ensure that every Kenyan child is educated. As a trained teacher, I know how difficult it is to teach a hungry child. Hunger is not just a pain in a child's stomach. It is a barrier to learning, a stolen opportunity, and a deferred dream.
Now, prominent Ugandan opposition figure Kizza Besigye appeared before a military court in the capital of Kampala, where he denied charges that include the illegal possession of firearms and negotiating to buy arms abroad. His appearance came after his spouse said he was allegedly kidnapped in Kenya last Saturday and sent back home, where he was being held in a military jail. In a post on X, Winnie Byanyima wrote that her 68-year-old husband had been seized in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, during a book launch event, and she demanded the Ugandan government free him. Besigye was told during the military court hearing, held amid heavy security, that he would remain in custody until 2nd of December.
We shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome.
Well, Kenya has denied of any abductions of Besigye in this country or anywhere within this country. And it is something as well that we'll be keeping tabs to see how that develops. In Uganda, he remains in police custody till 2nd of December. Well, that is where we wrap it up tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you're up to date with what is making headlines across the country tonight. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Have yourself a fantastic evening. Stay warm. Be blessed.